Minister, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now, lockdown measures have been adjusted across various portfolios, including yours. Now, because food is an essential service, provision being made there, of course, for interim relief to fish, specifically with an eye on that snoek run, as I've just mentioned. What are the provisions with regards to these fishing permits? What do people need to know?
Well, I think the important issue right now is that people already have valid fishing licenses, but really what they require is permits to travel so that they can move from the Cape Town metropole up the west coast to areas like Lambert's Bay. So we have been in touch with all of our licensed fishers, and we have been giving them that permission. Obviously, it's not an easy situation for the fishers themselves. I think that we had some unfortunate incidences on Friday night where fishers were stopped at roadblocks. There's also difficulties in terms of moving from the Cape Town and Houston area into an area such as Lambert's Bay in one day and then going back, because at this stage we don't have the provisions regarding accommodation being eased. So we are saying to fishers that we recognize this is a really difficult situation, but we are trying to work together so that we can make it more appropriate for everybody.
I was just speaking to your colleague in the Cabinet, Police Minister Becky Tele, about communication within the ranks of the police to make sure that the boots on the ground know what the adjusted measures are within this lockdown. Could you give us some insight into the cross-communication between these different departments in the Cabinet? For instance, if there is now a change around fishing permits or who is being allowed to be where, how are you going about making sure that that then cross-pollinates to the Department of Police so that those men and women who are manning those roadblocks understand who can and cannot go through?
Well, we have the national command structure where we talk as ministers, and we also have the NAT joint structure where senior officials from all departments sit together with the police and the South African National Defence Force. So any decision of this nature that is communicated is discussed in that forum. You would know that yesterday the President met with all the premiers and all the mayors. And part of the reason for that meeting is so that there should be appropriate communication at sub-national government level of changes, and also a request that those particular leaders in their own space communicate with their local level, what we call prov joints, where there would be similar reflection of all departments sitting together with the security forces. I myself had spoken to both premiers about the issues around the snoek run, and I had also spoken in some instances with local mayors. And in fact, on Friday night, we were even in direct contact with police stations on the ground so that we were facilitating that communication.
And now you're speaking about working in a very important sector like fishing, where we have many South Africans who live hand to mouth, depending on what they can take out of the ocean with their permits. Another one that comes to mind are our waste pickers. Just very quickly before we wrap up, because unfortunately we've run out of time. Collection of garbage is seen as an essential service, but recycling is not, and that's having an impact on waste pickers that we see across our cities in the country who depend on that for their livelihood. You've had consultations with two of the main organizations representing waste pickers. Can you give us a quick update on that?
Yes, we did speak to them because we did envisage that those waste pickers will be experiencing situations of extreme hardship. They have confirmed that they are being approached by many of their members. We then took the opportunity on Friday afternoon. I spoke with Gift of the Givers, with the National Consumer Goods Council, and also with one of the major beverage industries. And we are putting together a relief package I will be checking later today whether we can begin delivery today or whether, in fact, we would have to start that delivery during the course of the week. But it's very urgent that we get food parcels out to these people, and that is what we are working on at the moment.
Well, we wish you everything of the best with that. It's very important, as so many South Africans are wondering how they're going to keep food on the table. That is the Minister of Environment, Forestry and Fisheries, Barbara Creecy, live for us there on the line.